Burkina Faso is embarking on a pivotal new era in its defense evolution. Guided by President Ibrahim Traoré, the nation is working to bolster its armed forces to combat the persistent dangers from armed groups that have undermined national security for years. Current initiatives emphasize military partnerships with China, a rising power in Africa. The security landscape in Burkina Faso, situated at the core of the Sahel region, remains precarious. It ranks among West Africa's hardest-hit nations by extremist attacks. Authorities in Ouagadougou understand that absent upgrades in military infrastructure and access to advanced defense technologies, the nation's very existence is at risk. Burkina Faso's partnership with China forms a cornerstone of its broader plan to lessen reliance on Western arms support. Since 2024, Beijing has emerged as a primary provider of military hardware to the nation, signaling a profound realignment in its international alliances. These enhancements seek not just to amplify battlefield effectiveness, but also to foster an autonomous defense posture amid the ongoing turmoil across the Sahel. This alliance with China is viewed as a pathway to genuine strategic autonomy, an objective long pursued. The partnership reached a milestone in October 2025 when President Ibrahim Traoré formally presented a substantial shipment of advanced Chinese-manufactured weaponry to the Burkina Faso armed forces. The event marked the dawn of an enhanced era in bilateral defense ties. The delivered arsenal encompassed VN-22B, 105mm armored vehicles, SR-5 multiple rocket launcher systems, SM-6 self-propelled mortars, DUIZ-551 command vehicles, and Dongfang EQ-250 tactical vehicles fitted with laser-guided missiles, all produced by Norinco, a prominent Chinese state-owned defense conglomerate. This acquisition highlights Burkina Faso's drive to fortify its specialized forces, including the Rapid Intervention Artillery Battalion and the Rapid Intervention Armored Battalion, which lead counteroffensives against insurgents in militant-held territories. Geopolitically, the development reflects a tilting of regional power dynamics in West Africa. China is aggressively expanding its African footprint through targeted defense collaborations, positioning security aid as a pillar of its broader continental influence. Unlike Western donors, who typically condition military support on governance reforms and democratic progress, Beijing advances a no-strings-attached framework centered solely on operational requirements and mutual benefit. This approach resonates deeply with Burkina Faso's leadership, which sees China as a partner attuned to the urgent realities of its counterinsurgency campaign. The absence of political preconditions enables swift decision-making in Ouagadougou. Moreover, China's capacity to deliver high-quality hardware at lower costs and on accelerated timelines proves especially compelling for budget-constrained African militaries seeking rapid capability gains. Burkina Faso stands as one example among many in the Sahel, where nations like Mali and Niger are similarly deepening military partnerships with China. This trend underscores a rising trust across the continent in Beijing's defense technology and manufacturing expertise. Authorities in Ouagadougou acknowledge that the region's cross-border insurgencies demand far more than diplomatic solutions. Effective deterrence requires robust mobile forces equipped with contemporary systems to match the agility of non-state actors. According to the Africa Center for Strategic Studies, Burkina Faso alone has borne 55% of all fatalities from extremist violence in the Sahel over the past 3 years, with an annual average of 10,500 lives lost to the conflict. With the government maintaining control over roughly 40% of its territory, the magnitude of the security crisis is starkly evident. Military modernization has thus become an imperative, not a choice. Acquisitions like Chinese-sourced armored vehicles and heavy artillery are designed to enhance firepower and operational mobility in harsh terrains, from deserts to rugged highlands. The SR-5 multiple launch rocket system, for instance, delivers versatile ordnance, both guided and unguided, in multiple calibers, enabling precise, adaptable strikes across varied threat profiles and boosting mission success in active combat zones. Similarly, the VN-22B, armed with a 105mm gun and engineered for high-speed maneuverability, provides immediate responsive fire support to frontline troops advancing through contested areas. The synergy of firepower and speed positions these assets as linchpins in Burkina Faso's rapid response doctrine. Far beyond symbolic diplomacy, this modernization drive represents a concrete upgrade to operational lethality and resilience. Over the past 2 decades, China has emerged as a dominant arms provider to over 20 African states. Such partnerships foster sustained reliance on Chinese defense ecosystems. Yet for Burkina Faso, they constitute a reciprocal strategic alignment. The nation gains cutting-edge weaponry, while Beijing expands its regional leverage. Authorities in Ouagadougou now regard China as a comprehensive ally, delivering hardware alongside technical training, logistical backbone, and enduring intelligence collaboration. President Ibrahim Traoré underscored that Burkina Faso requires allies willing to extend unconditional support, delivering actionable remedies to frontline perils without imposing political stipulations. China and Turkey embody this ethos, furnishing a results-oriented framework that includes armaments, armored transport, personnel instruction, and tech assistance, free from mandates for domestic governance shifts. Beijing and Ankara's engagement in West Africa is far from nascent. Across the last 2 decades, Turkey has methodically broadened its diplomatic and security imprints throughout the continent, with Burkina Faso emerging as the most recent addition to this expanding alliance network. The development exemplifies Ankara's bid to amplify its continental sway under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's revitalized Africa outreach doctrine. On the world stage, the deepening roles of China and Turkey in West Africa, exemplified by their engagement with Burkina Faso, signal the emergence of a multipolar landscape. Unlike Western powers, neither Beijing nor Ankara link security aid to rigid political benchmarks, instead prioritizing symbiotic alliances rooted in shared advantage. This model has found strong favor in Ouagadougou, where leaders aim to stabilize the nation amid cycles of unrest and insurgency. Parallel to equipment upgrades, the military is undergoing sweeping internal reforms to cultivate a more disciplined, agile force capable of swift threat response. Any battlefield gains Burkina Faso secures will thus double as validation of Chinese and Turkish defense technologies, amplifying both nations' stature in global arms and influence markets. Now, if you like this video, check out this next video right here.